Carl Jung once said something terrifying. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Maybe this is the most frightening truth about human life, that most of the thoughts you believe are yours were never truly yours to begin with. Maybe you are not choosing, maybe you are simply obeying. Every morning you wake up with thoughts that arrived on their own, fears that formed on their own, desires planted inside you by hands you cannot even see. And the strangest part, you gave this prison a name, me. But if your mind truly belongs to you, then why can't you silence it? Why is it that at night, when the entire world's become quiet, your mind finally begins to speak louder? Who is talking inside you? And what if that voice is not really you at all? You are not the driver. Human beings are obsessed with the illusion of control, control over emotions, control over decisions, control over the future. But the neuroscientists have pointed to a disturbing possibility for years. The brain makes decisions before you become aware of them. In several psychological experiments, brain activity was detected moments before people consciously believed they had made a choice, which means the decision may happen before the self even arrives. You think you are choosing, but most of your choices were already unfolding before your awareness touched them. The mind moves faster than consciousness, like a shadow moving in darkness. Before you understand why you are sad, the mind has already decided. Before you understand why you fell in love, the mind has already chosen. Before you even speak, the sentence has already been formed, and you simply arrive a few milliseconds later to claim, I decided. Maybe you are not the driver, maybe you are only a passenger sitting behind the glass, imagining your hands are on the wheel. A factory called the unconscious. Sigmund Freud once said the mind is like an iceberg. Most of it remains hidden beneath the surface. Inside you, there is a dark room, a room you have never fully seen, the unconscious, the place where fears are buried but never truly die. Every humiliation from childhood, every cold look, every failure, every moment you felt unworthy, they are all still there, alive, hungry, patient. You forget, but the mind doesn't. Carl Jung believed that every human being carries a hidden darkness within themselves. He called it the shadow, the part of you that was suppressed but never destroyed. The mind is like a dark ocean. Your awareness only sees the surface, but beneath it, things are living that you don't even have named for. And the worst part, Most of your behavior rises from that darkness. You think you are rational, but maybe you are simply a bond that learned how to speak. How the mind devours you. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also goes into you. An uncontrolled mind slowly becomes a monster, not an external monster, but something quieter, smarter, invisible. Something that speaks using your own voice, the same voice that whispers, you are not enough. Everyone is better than you. No one truly loves you. Modern psychology calls this destructive inner dialogue, a voice that slowly turns a human beings against themselves. And the terrifying part, you believe it, because the mind has learned how to imitate your voice perfectly. Some people spend their entire lives trapped inside prisons built from thoughts. They laugh, they work, they fall and laugh. But inside them, a silent war never stops. The mind can become a human being's greatest torturer. And the cruelest part, the victim never realizes they are carrying the torture within themselves. The world, a factory for programming minds. Existential philosophers believe that most people never truly live their own lives. They live a programmed version of what society demanded from them. Since childhood, the human mind is conditioned by family, by school, by media, by fear, by advertisements. People are taught what beauty is, what success is, what should be feared, and even what deserves to be loved. And slowly, a person becomes a collection of other people's voices, a voice they eventually call myself. Maybe most thoughts destroying you at night were never yours. Maybe they are only echoes of a world that mastered the art of occupying the human mind. The real war. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi death camps, once said the last of human freedoms is to choose one's attitude. Perhaps because he understood something horrifying, the greatest war of human life never happens outside. The real war exists inside the school, between awareness and darkness, between the human being trying to awaken and the mind trying to keep them asleep. Because the mind loves patterns, loves repetitions, loves safe prisons. But awareness is dangerous. The moment a human being begins observing their own mind, they are no longer completely enslaved by it. And perhaps the first moment of freedom is the moment you realize I am not my mind. Thoughts come, thoughts go, but the observer behind them is something else, something deeper, quieter, older. Perhaps what humans once called the soul. And now the real question is no longer does the mind control us? Maybe the real question is this: if one day the mind become completely silent, what would remain of you? Maybe your entire life, You have been listening to a voice that was never truly yours, and perhaps the most terrifying moment of existence is the moment you finally hear the silence.